What's good, everyone? It's Mikey T, the movie star. I'm back with another exclusive. That's right, we're going to get right back into the paperwork, the indictment of ARAB and OBH. This is Mikey T, the movie star. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Mikey T, the movie star. Mikey T underscore the movie star. That's right, Mikey T underscore the movie star. Whoever follows me, I'm going to give them a follow back based on this video. You know how I do. I keep it real. Let's get right back into this paperwork, though. We're going to try to keep the commentary to a minimum today for some of the subscribers. Creating a Patreon as well. Anybody who wants new and updated material quicker than anybody else, whether it be in regard to ARAB or some of my Bang'em Smurf stories where he's giving his thoughts on different topics in hip-hop, or just anything in general, I'm going to put a Patreon down there in the description for anybody who wants to do a monthly donation to the channel. On or about November 27th, 2017, the defendants Gadsden and West, No Breaks Bras and Abdul West, ARAB, used their cellular telephones to discuss the status of their drug trafficking on that date. On or about November 29th, 2017, the defendants West and Baker discussed the status of their current and future drug trafficking activities and the DTO operations. On or about November 30th, 2017, West used his cellular telephone to communicate with the defendant Gadsden to direct the defendant Gadsden to 2323 Race Street, Philadelphia, for drug trafficking activities. On or about December 1st, 2017, defendants Blanding and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss their current and future planned drug trafficking activities and DTO operations. Okay, so on or about December 5th, 2017, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to arrange drug trafficking on that date with other members of the DTO. Baker is Shoddy. On or about December 6th, 2017, the very next day, defendants West, Baker, and Gadsden had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking, a three-way phone call. On or about December 7th, defendants Blanding and Baker had a conversation on the telephone to discuss their future drug trafficking activities in California with other members of the DTO. So we got Blanding, which is Kaz, and Baker, which is Shoddy, having a conversation on December 7th. On or about December 8th, 2017, defendants Blanding and Boyer is Mullah, communicated by cellular telephone about payment of rent for the apartment in the name of Tabitha Bishop. On or about December 12th, 4 days later, defendant Hoover left Philadelphia in his Volvo tractor headed west towards Los Angeles, California, where he arrived on December 15th. So that's Boog. Took him 3 days to get to California by his Volvo truck tractor. On or about December 16th, 2017, defendants Hickson and Blanding communicated with each other by cellular telephone before they departed from Philadelphia International Airport and arrived at the Los Angeles International Airport. Defendants Hickson, Miliano, and Blanding, Kaz, communicated with each other again to coordinate upon arrival in Los Angeles. So I imagine this is Kaz arriving to meet up with Miliano or vice versa in California. On or about December 16th, defendant Blanding communicated with defendant Baker to discuss defendant Blanding's activities in Los Angeles with other members of the DTO. On or about December 17, 2017, defendant West, Blanding, Hoover, and Boyer coordinated with each other via cellular telephone to pool money to purchase narcotics. Okay, so on or about December 17th, 2017, defendants West, Blanding, Hoover, and Boyer. Okay, so Ab, Kaz, Boog, and Mullah coordinated with each other via cellular telephone to pool money to purchase narcotics. Okay. On or about December 18th, 2017, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking. On or about December 19th, 2017, defendants Blandon and Hickson coordinated drug trafficking activities via their cellular telephones while in Los Angeles. On or about December 20th, 2017, defendants West and Blandon used their cellular telephones to communicate about getting a sample of drugs to test the quality from a source in New York. On or about December 21st, defendant Blandon and Hickson arranged to meet at the lounge. On or about December 22nd, 2017, the defendant Hoover returned to Philadelphia in his Volvo truck tractor and unloaded narcotics into his Chevrolet Trailblazer, which he then drove to 2323 Race Street, Philadelphia. Defendant Hoover delivered the narcotics to defendant West at 2323 Race Street. On or about December 23rd, 2017, through January 18th, 2018, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, defendant West, using his cellular telephone ending with 1686, coordinated sales of cocaine base with defendant Gadsden using cellular telephone ending in 6579, including communicating drug amounts remaining and picking up narcotics from 2323 Race Street. On or about December 28th, 2017, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking. On or about December 28th, 2017, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking and DTO operations. Wow, so I'm sorry guys, but it's December 28th. It's like literally it's like Christmas time. We're going on New Year's, and these feds are up working. Like, what is this? Catch Me If You Can or something? These guys are like Tom Hanks working to catch Leonardo DiCaprio, man. That's some Catch Me If You Can type. All right, sorry guys, I went off there. On or about January 1st, New Year's 2018, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking, DTO operations, and the roles of members of the DTO. On or about January 4th, 2018, defendants West and Blandon used their cellular telephones to coordinate members of the DTO bringing drugs from 2323 Race Street and delivery of drugs to the DTO customers. On or about January 6, 2018, defendants West and Baker had a telephone conversation to discuss drug trafficking, DTO operations, and the roles of the members of the DTO. Okay, guys, I got to stop right there. If they got these conversations of alleged people that are, members of the DTO and their roles, I want to hear it. I want to see specific roles laid out. I'm not seeing nothing like that thus far. So far, all I'm seeing is people pooling their money together and splitting it. Like anybody does that. I'm sorry to say, some of the guys went to California. They found a cheap source, pool their money. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't mean somebody's John Gotti. You know what I mean? But all right, let me stop because I know that's going to annoy some people. On or about January 8th, 2018, defendant West communicated with defendant Hoover that defendant Hoover can move into the apartment at 2323 Race Street and can get the key to the apartment from the defendant Boyer. So that's Boog getting a key to an apartment by Ab's younger brother Moolah, just to put that out for people. On or about January 10th, 2018, defendant West communicated with defendant Hoover that defendant Hoover should return the key to apartment at 2323 Race Street to defendant Boyer when defendant Hoover goes out of town. Okay? On or about January 19th, 2018, 9 days later, defendant Hoover left Philadelphia in his Volvo truck tractor headed west towards Los Angeles, California. On or about January 24th, 2018, defendant Blandon and Hickson traveled on a flight together from Philadelphia International Airport to Los Angeles International Airport. So they said, they're saying Kaz and Hickson traveled on a flight together from Philadelphia International Airport to Los Angeles International Airport. Defendant Blanding communicated with Defendant Hoover. When Defendant Hoover, Blanding, and Hickson arrived in Los Angeles, and Defendant Blanding coordinated with Defendant Hoover to meet with Defendant Blanding and Hickson. On or about January 25th, very next day, on or about January 25th, 2018, defendants Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover coordinated transportation and traveled together while in Los Angeles and stored U.S. currency in their rental car used in Los Angeles. Really? You're going to point that out there, that they kept their money in their car? So they had money when they went to California? You're going to, point that out? These guys shouldn't be going to California. These guys shouldn't be in California. And they certainly shouldn't have no money in California when they go there. Doesn't make any sense. Anybody that travels to California, I'm not even going to put it out there, travels to California when you're trying to put together a record deal, they're going to have some money on them. I mean, go look at any Chief Keef video when he pulls up and TMZ is recording him and he pulls up and he has a wad of cash like that. Come on now. It's an image. It's a hip-hop image. On or about January 25th, 2018, defendants Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover coordinated transportation and traveled together while in Los Angeles and stored U.S. currency in their rental car used in Los Angeles. Defendants Blandon and Hickson coordinated collecting narcotics for the DTO using their cellular devices. On or about January 26th, 2018, defendant Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover stored narcotics and or U.S. currency in their hotel room and transported narcotics in a rental car in Los Angeles. Defendants Blandon and Hickson communicated by cellular telephone to ensure that the packages of narcotics and or U.S. currency are hidden from hotel housekeeping to prevent detection. On or about January 27, 2018, defendant Blandon and Hickson used their cellular telephones to coordinate meetings. On or about January 28, 2018, defendants Blandon and Hickson returned to Philadelphia. On or about January 31st, 2018, defendant Hoover returned to Philadelphia in his Volvo truck tractor and unloaded narcotics into his Chevrolet Trailblazer, which he then drove to 2323 Ray Street, Philadelphia. Defendant Hoover delivered their narcotics to defendant West at 2323 Ray Street, where defendant Gadsden and Baker were awaiting the delivery. On or about January 31st, 2018, defendant Gadsden used his cellular telephone to communicate with defendant West about traveling to 2323 Ray Street. On or about February 2nd, 2018, defendant Hickson used his cellular telephone to inform the defendants West and Blanding that the narcotics arrived in Philadelphia on that date. On or about February 2nd, 2018, defendants Hoover and Blanding used their cellular telephones to communicate about paying defendant Hoover for delivering narcotics. Okay, so it looks like Hoover, Boog, was asking Blanding, Kaz, about payment for delivering the narcotics. I mean, we don't have anything written out here, but that's what they're saying was in the text messages or whatever. On or about February 3rd, the next day, 2018, defendant Gadsden communicated with defendant West about the status of their drug trafficking. On or about February 4th, 2018, defendant Blandon and Hickson met at the apartment at 2323 Ray Street. On or about February 5th, 2018, defendants West and Gadsden communicated via cellular telephones about the status of their drug trafficking activities, as well as securing the storing narcotics at the mansion. On or about February 6, 2018, defendants Hoover and Blanding coordinated payment of the rent at the apartment in 2323 Ray Street. On or about February 7, 2018, defendant Blanding used his cellular telephone to advise defendants West, Hickson, and Boyer on how to delete data from their cellular telephones to prevent detection by law enforcement. On or about February 10, 2018, defendant West used his cellular telephone to request that defendant Blandon provide him with the keys to 2323 Ray Street left by defendant Hoover. On or about February 15, 2018, defendant Blandon and Hickson communicated using their cellular telephones about payment and or proceeds of the drug trafficking. On or about February 16, 2018, defendants West and Gadsden communicated using their cellular telephones about their drug trafficking activities. So it was West and Gadsden communicated using their cellular telephones about their drug trafficking activities. On or about February 20th, 2018, defendant Hoover left Philadelphia in his Volvo tractor headed west towards Los Angeles, California. Defendant Hoover communicated with defendant West about the location where defendant Hoover stores his Volvo tractor. On or about February 23rd, 2018, defendants Blandon and Hickson traveled from Philadelphia International Airport to Los Angeles International Airport and then traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada. On or about February 25th, 2018, defendant Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover met together in Los Angeles, California. On or about February 25th, 2018, defendant Hickson used his cellular telephone to communicate with defendant West and Boyer about drug trafficking opportunities in California. All right, so defendant Hickson used his cellular telephone to communicate with defendants West and Boyer about drug trafficking opportunities in California. Right there. I mean, if anybody knows don't talk on your phone, if everybody says that every single day when you're on a Facebook video chat or you're just texting your friend, like, don't be saying all types of crazy stuff on your phone. And right here it clearly says that this guy, Hickson Miliano, was texting about drug trafficking opportunities in California. Who would do that? Who would actually text their friend and be like, hey, there are drug trafficking opportunities in California for us? I don't buy it. On or about February 26, 2018, defendants West and Blanding used their cellular telephones to arrange to ship a package via FedEx from Los Angeles to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. Okay, it's getting a little spooky. I never let people send me packages. Never. I'm not in a state that allows stuff like that. Maybe if I was in California, I would potentially let somebody ship me some marijuana or something like that. But I'm in Connecticut. I rep for Connecticut. So I would never let anybody ship me no weed in Connecticut. Any type of like any of the pens or anything like that. Never. But if anybody wants to send me some shirts to wear in these videos, I'll definitely do that. So on or about February 26, 2018, defendants West and Blanding used their cellular telephones to arrange to ship a package via FedEx from Los Angeles to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. Seems to me like that might have been the Birdman contract. I mean, they probably sent did it overnight. The Birdman contract, they overnighted it to Philadelphia so they could show it to their lawyer the next day. Just throwing out a speculation right there. On or about February 27th, defendant Blandon and Hickson used their cellular telephones to communicate about drug trafficking and a source of supply to the DTO in New York. On or about February 28th, 2018, defendants Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover used their cellular telephones to communicate with one another about paying for narcotics in Los Angeles. Okay, right there. Two totally separate things. We got two totally separate things going on right here. We got Blandon, Hickson, and Hoover communicating about paying for narcotics in Los Angeles. That goes back to me earlier saying that a bunch of guys pooling their money together to catch a lick, get some stuff cheap, and then, you know what I mean, whatever they're going to do. But here, earlier on, we've got defendants Blandon and Hickson. They used their cellular telephones to communicate about a drug trafficking source of supply to the DTO in New York. I'm thinking they're talking about the music opportunities that they had in New York going on. All the record labels are in New York. And so it seems to me like these text messages are getting a little bit confused between two different things. And I'm not trying to put anything out there about anybody, but I just know that ARAB isn't going to get on the stand and just snitch out all of his friends. Like ARAB will serve that time he won't get on the stand and tell the truth and nothing but the truth, which I think would ultimately free him from this situation he's involved in right now. So on or about February 28th, 2018, defendants Blandon and Hickson and Hoover used their cellular telephones to communicate with one another about paying for narcotics in Los Angeles. On or about February 28th, 2018, defendants Blandon and Hickson used their cellular telephones to communicate about meeting at the defendant Hickson's residence. On or about March 1st, 2018, defendant Blandon and Hickson used their cellular telephone to coordinate future drug trafficking activities in California and the status of their drug trafficking. Again, I don't think much of that involved ARAB right there. Now the thing that involved ARAB sending the FedEx from California to Philly the one day, and then the thing that involved ARAB was about their sources, about their connections in New York. But just as easily as ARAB's lawyer getting a leaf, rolling up weed with a leaf, and actually getting high off a leaf, which the leaf is what you use to roll the weed, he confused it. I think the feds here are confusing a source in New York as a music industry source. Personally, that's just how I feel. So on or about March 1st, 2018, defendants Blandon and Hickson used their cellular telephones to coordinate future drug trafficking activities in California and the status of their current drug trafficking. On or about March 3rd, 2018, defendant Blandon used his cellular telephone to send defendant Hickson information on a FedEx package and a UPS package sent from Los Angeles to the Philadelphia area while defendant Blandon and Hickson were in Los Angeles. So on or about March 4th, 2018, defendant Hoover returned to Philadelphia in his Volvo truck tractor and contacted defendant Hickson on the cellular telephone ended with 8500. After defendant Hoover had parked his Volvo truck tractor, defendants Blandon and West met defendant Hoover at the Volvo truck tractor with defendant Hoover's Chevrolet Trailblazer. Defendant Hoover transferred narcotics from the Volvo truck tractor into the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and along with the defendant West and Blandon traveled to 2323 Ray Street. Defendant Hoover then delivered their narcotics to defendant West and Blandon at 2323 Ray Street. Defendant Gadsden arrived at 2323 Ray Street shortly thereafter. Alright, so on or about March 4th, I got to read this one back because that was a mouthful. On or about March 4th, pause. On or about March 4th, 2018, defendant Hoover returned to Philadelphia, so Boog's getting back to Philadelphia in his Volvo truck tractor, and contacted defendant Hickson Miliano on the cellular telephone ending with 8500. After defendant Hoover had parked his Volvo truck tractor, defendants Blandon and West, so they're saying Kaz and West, met defendant Hoover at the Volvo truck tractor with defendant Hoover's Chevrolet Trailblazer. Defendant Hoover transferred narcotics from the Volvo truck tractor into the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and along with defendants West and Blandon traveled to 2323 Ray Street. Defendant Hoover then delivered the narcotics to defendant West and Blandon at 2323 West Street. So defendant Hoover then delivered the narcotics to defendants West and Blandon at 2323 Ray Street. That's how it's written here. I'm just reading it verbatim. Defendant Gadsden arrived at 2323 Ray Street shortly thereafter. So they're saying that Ab just pulled up in the Trailblazer, the Chevrolet Trailblazer. So it was all cinematic in my mind, him pulling up like that. So on or about March 4th, 2018, defendant West and Blandon used their cellular telephones to coordinate picking defendant Hoover up at the location where defendant Hoover's Volvo truck tractor had arrived. Okay, so that's March 4th, 2018. So this is all happening in the same day. They just got it broken down a little bit different. So Hoover up at the location. On or about March 6th, 2 days later, 2018, defendant Boyer communicated with management at 2323 Ray Street that he is subletting apartment 219. On or about March 8th, 2018, defendant Hickson traveled to the Dominican Republic? What? All right, that's where I'm ending this one today. We got Miliano traveling out to the Dominican Republic. I got to end it out on some boss like that, to be honest with you. You know, I've always wanted to go to the Dominican Republic, and this guy went there. It's pretty dope. That's where we're going to end it. Going to leave the cliffhanger right there. Hopefully this thing doesn't end in the next couple sentences, but I've got a lot more to bring you. I got a couple different special announcements to tell you all as well, involving some new products that we're going to be doing, but also everybody that's locked in still on the chat here. Follow me on Instagram at MikeyT_the movie star. I'm going to follow everybody back that follows me based on this video. And in the description, we're going to add a Patreon in the next couple days, so everybody can get more exclusive content if that's what you want, for all the special monthly subscribers. All right, respect everybody. Mikey T, the movie star.